Hello, and welcome to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Steven Johnson. I tell you, today we're going to talk about, in this episode, we're going to talk about last week's fights. And I'll tell you what, we didn't have a whole star-studded fights, HBO or Showtime, but what we did have, Steve, was interesting, surprising, and surprising to some, you know, and not to others. But obviously, we had Diego Magdaleno went to Manchester, England, and to try to win a title, of course. And he fought Terry Flanagan, and then of course here locally we had on TV on NBC Premier's Boxing, and then we had the overdue rematch between Danny O'Connor and Gabriel Bracero. So both of them interesting, and we talked about them last week in our upcoming segment. But let's go ahead and start with Diego. Diego, who made his try to take the long way and the brave way to become a world champion. Tell us about what your take on the fight.
Well, let's first of all talk about, we had questions why this fight was not televised. Okay. I think that we've now know why the fight was not televised. All kudos to Terry Flanagan. You know, he totally dominated Diego Magdalena. But first of all, let me say this, Aurelio. Terry Flanagan is 5'10". Diego Magdalena is 5'6". Okay. This is for the WBO World Lightweight title.
Yes.
Okay. My understanding is that from some that were in attendance say that they were speculating that Terry Flanagan weighed as much as 160. Okay, after rehydrating.
Come fight time.
Yeah. So there's another indictment for same day weigh-ins. Okay.
Yeah.
But having said that, it's fairly obvious that Diego Magdaleno took the chance. He obviously knew what was going on, and he took the chance at a world title. But for all intents and purposes, it was a total mismatch size-wise. Okay.
Now this ended in the second, did it not?
In the second round. That's all. 2:38 of the second round, it was
Okay.
over. And Diego had been down 3 times. The referee actually stopped the fight with Diego on his feet, but he was trapped in the corner, was taking punishment. There was no need for the fight to continue. But I would have to say at this point, I have to say Frank Warner's pretty slick. We've always known that, he knows what he's doing, but he was able to lure an American over there for a title fight.
And a good American.
A good American. Yeah, and well, Diego's probably, some might not have him in the top 10 of lightweights, but the bottom line is that he's there. And so...
And he's a credible opponent. He's credible.
That's it. He's a credible opponent, and like I said, taking nothing away from Flanagan, he took on, handled his business. But I can tell you this, there's obviously no one in the lightweight division that will travel over there to Manchester to fight him, especially knowing that, fight night, you're going to be looking at probably 20-pound weight disadvantage from a guy that's very talented.
Yeah. Well, there's an art to being able to dry out, make weight, and then rehydrate, because everybody knows it's dangerous. The medics will tell you right offhand, they don't like it. I mean, the dehydration, the drying out process just weakens the body in its entirety, because you're basically eliminating all your liquids from your body to make this slow weight. And then of course you drink and you rehydrate. You drink the water, the juices, the protein drinks, whatever your way is. You go out and have your nice big steak. You kind of get your body strong, because your body will pick that up immediately, because it's starving.
It's been craving.
Yeah, it's starving. So naturally you put the pounds on that. Now, if you can do that and stay strong come fight night, then naturally you got an advantage. Okay, so and that's the, I never understood why they went or went away from the same day weigh-ins, because you're not going to do that on the same day. Let's say you had a weigh-in in the morning, and like it used to be, and then fight in the evening. Okay, not enough time for you to get completely rehydrated and strong.
That's right.
Now the difference is when you weigh in the night before. Okay, you're weak at weigh-ins. You're weak, but then you eat, you rehydrate, and you have a night's sleep. Okay, your body tends to recuperate, and you come back strong naturally. 10, 15, and in some cases 20 pounds higher than what you were. But so obviously it's just a matter of a technique that people can do and people can't do. But needless to say, that's what the rules are. That's what they are. And I tip my hat off to Diego. Diego did have a belt, or does have a belt. I don't think that was on the line. A minor belt. I think it was United States.
USBO.
United States version, a national type WBO belt, and he still has that, so he can come back and kind of defend that and kind of work his way at. But you know what, he took the challenge. He took the challenge, went out there knowing everything was going to be against him.
Right.
But obviously, there was no need for any kind of people crying out. Robbery or anything like that, because
no chance of that.
It was obvious that he went out and he lost the fight. So Terry Flanagan, let's talk about him. Is he ready to come in to the United States and make a name for himself?
No.
You don't think so?
No need. Frank Warren's let it be known that if you want him, you're going to come over to England and fight him. So
he's gonna have a lot of problems. And Frank Warren, like you say, it's good. He's the big shot overseas in Manchester. But if he's taking that attitude, then it's not going to be like he's going to get top 5 contenders to go from the United States. Okay, so he might as well start looking at Colombia and the Dominican Republic.
I think Frank Warren is well content with that. He needs a big name. There's no question Terry Flanagan's a big name for him. And I think he's content with that.
Well, that's fine and well, but I don't care what anyone says, Steve. The big money's here. Yeah. The big money's in the United States, and it's always going to be in the United States. Yes. The big money. So if he's content, like you say, to make good money, then that's fine. But what about the fighter? The fighter's going to say, well, wait a minute, I want to get some of them $5-10 million paydays. Frank Warren can't pay him $10 million. I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. And the problem is, maybe Frank Warren knows, because the minute Flanagan comes to the United States to fight,
could be
things change. Things change.
Well, the bottom line is this, that Flanagan's been, pretty much ducked, to be honest. Been ducked in the UK.
Okay.
So he has to, like you said, Warren's going to have to figure out a way to get it done, but he doesn't want to have him fight outside the UK. But that's going to, like you said, if he wants the big money, that's what's going to happen in it, and it won't be on the cause of Frank Warren. It'll be because of Flanagan, like you said, telling Warren, hey, I want the big money or I'm gone.
A boxer's career is short.
Yes.
And when you have the opportunity to make the big money, make the big money.
Okay, the other fight we had that we want to talk about real quick was Gabriel Bracero and Danny O'Connor. The reason we want to talk about that is because actually you and I made quick conversation of that last week when we talked about the fight, because as you remember, this was a rematch from 4 years ago where Bracero beat Danny O'Connor by decision. Yeah. And now Danny O'Connor was coming back. His career has moved. He hasn't lost a fight since, and we thought Danny O'Connor was going to handle it. Well, Bracero came out, and he was giving credit to his new trainer, new technique, new protein, as everyone always does. But
you're supposed to.
41 seconds in the first round, overhand right, bomb, out, fight done. Danny O'Connor.
Well, let me tell you something.
I know. This was on Premier Boxing
NBC.
On NBC.
Yeah, NBC. Yes. Let me tell you something, Steve. And we mentioned this in our last week's episode when we were talking about the upcoming fights. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't upcoming anymore. It's happened, but you remember I mentioned. It's hard to forget when you get beat up, and in a rematch, it always favors the guy who wins, because when you lose, you lost, and that's always stays in your head. And if you're going to be able to get that out of your head, good for you. But I can bet the minute he stood in that ring, memories came right back in his head. And same thing for the winner. Same thing for who won the fight. The winner's very confident because, hey, I done beat this guy already once, man. I'm going to do it again. But who would have expected in the first round, before the minute mark comes around, he ends up catching him. So, hey, good for Gabriel.
Well, you know
Bracero.
what? I think what most people that follow boxing in any way, shape, or form saw this fight go into the decision, and had Bracero winning again by decision. But it was fairly obvious in the first round that O'Connor, for some reason, man, this dude came out kind of dancing through that little left that was kind of lazy, got hit with that bomb overhand right. I mean, it was out. I mean, it was, I think everyone was pretty much shocked. I know I was. I was like, damn, this is over already. But credit to Bracero. Like you said, going in as the underdog, using that as motivation. You know, he definitely said that was a motivation for him, that he was an underdog against a guy that he'd beaten pretty decisively in his mind. So, hey, kudos to him.
Okay, now, what does that do for Bracero? What does that pay for him? Real quick, while we have a little time, does that open any doors for him? I mean, well, in your opinion, I mean, we're all talking about what could happen now with his career.
Well, my opinion is this: number one is that this fight, because of the manner that it happened, is definitely in contention for KO of the year. I mean, mainly because nobody saw it, because it was a beautiful overhand right hand. I mean, no question about that. But Bracero himself, I don't think he's any factor. I think this keeps him in line for Al Heyman to showcase him on another Premier Boxing Channel show, so he'll get paid. But one thing I have to say before we end this segment, I've been very critical, as you know, of some of the matchmaking that Premier Boxing Channel has, Al Heyman has put together. But in this case, it looks like he came out to be smarter than all of us, because he put two guys in there that, like I said, we thought it was going to be one-sided and go the other way. Because I'm so hard on him about a lot of the matches that are put together, I got to give him credit where credit's due.
Okay. And guys, I disagree with all that.
All of it.
40 seconds, 40-second fight is not a good matchup. I don't care how you look at it. I mean, it's just not.
Hey, anything can happen. That's what it shows. Anything can happen.
Unless you're Tyson, and you expect that, because everyone that when Tyson stepped in the ring, boxing fans expected that, and anything other than a quick knockout was a letdown. This wasn't the case. This was a case of two.
Don't say it. Don't say it. You got ready.
Two guys.
Okay.
All right. This is two guys that let's just say filled in a spot for NBC. Okay, guys, and we'll leave it at that. But we're going to come back with our next segment. We're going to talk about next week. Next week is loaded, baby. So you want to come back and stay with us, okay? So until then,
keep them hands up.
Keep them hands up.